Hello, I'm Katie Lewis.
And I'm Nicole Butler.
And we will be your English 2010 instructors this semester. For those of you taking fully online courses, Nicole will be your instructor. For those of you taking Tech Enhanced courses, I will be your instructor. However, throughout the semester, you'll be hearing through podcasts from both of us.
Yes.
To begin our little intro podcast 2010, I'd like to go over some goals and objectives for 2010. You need to be aware that there are a broad variety of students in our classroom. Some of you have had English classes recently, some of you have not. An English 2010 class is not a grammar class. So if you have problems with mechanics, that's something that you're going to have to take care of outside of the class.
We suggest the Writing Center as an extremely helpful resource in learning how to work out any sort of kinks or problems that you have with your writing.
Exactly. Furthermore, the Grammar Girl website, which I will talk about and post a URL link for on Post 1, is a very good resource for helping with grammar and helping understand the mechanics of writing. What 2010 is a course that will help you understand and use writing capabilities through different genres. And genre writing is important because it teaches you how to view a subject matter through different perspectives. Not just your own perspective or the people around you, but through writing styles, which we will discuss later in this podcast. Other objectives of 2010 are to teach and help you apply research methods, conducting research, and integrating research into your papers that you'll write throughout the semester. In order to perform good research and show that research has been conducted in your writing, you will have to use a citation method. The citation method that is required throughout this entire course is MLA format. MLA stands for Modern Language Association and is the format used across the humanities. This citation format is pretty simple, but it requires you to do some research about that as well. So Chapter 12 in your textbook will help you with the basics of MLA format. The OWL at Purdue online will also help you.
Look for that in your web link section of Blackboard.
Exactly. And you'll be reading an MLA Spirit guide later in this week. Make sure that you've read all of these papers, articles, chapters that we tell you to read on MLA format, or at least reference them so you understand what's required for the format. Some other goals and objectives are to help 2010 students engage in responsible public discourse. So I'll say from the get-go, Nicole and I are both pushing an agenda in this course. It's not a liberal agenda, it's not a conservative agenda. It's an agenda for more responsible public discourse. And by the end of this semester, all of our students hopefully will be engaging and enhancing the public discourse which they are a part of.
Now, for details about the syllabi for each of our classes, you will have to look on Blackboard Vista and ask each of us respectively any questions that you may have. But know that in our classes, as well as any English 2010 class that you'll find at Salt Lake Community College, you will be graded on attendance and participation. Our policies will vary a little bit because of the different class formats that we have, but we do expect you to participate in class, and you will be graded on that, and you will be penalized for not participating or for not attending in class. The good news is it's really easy to keep up your attendance and participation points. The bad news is that if you don't, it will hurt you.
Exactly. Nicole and I have both had several students throughout the many semesters that we've been teaching who could have earned A's in the class or B's in the class, end up with low B's, C's, and sometimes even D's because they didn't attend class and they didn't participate on the Blackboard discussions. Do not be one of these students.
Yes, it really can hurt you. If you're a person who has a very busy life and you feel like you can't make the class times that we're asking you to make, Katie specifically, you need to switch to an online class where the assignment deadlines are posted well in advance and you can do things early and get them done well before the deadline's cut off. So think about the class you're taking and whether it really is going to fit your schedule.
However, for the online posts, you need to view the due dates and times for your online posts the same as you would having to attend a class at a certain time and in a certain classroom. It is not acceptable to post work 2, 3, 4 days late. You cannot come to class in a classroom 3 or 4 days late. So it is imperative to you, your grade, and your success in the class to post on time.
The next policy we want to talk to you about is plagiarism. Salt Lake Community College has a very strict academic integrity code. You cannot plagiarize any part of your paper and get away with it. You must cite everything. If you borrow a sentence from a source, you must cite it. If you're using a phrase from a source that's a unique phrase, you need to cite that as well. If you take your entire paper from an online source with term papers, then you're basically just in trouble. The point is, think about what you're doing. Make decisions ahead of time about what you're going to write and how you're going to research for it so that you don't find yourself in a situation where you are tempted to plagiarize. We check every paper for plagiarism, and you will fail the assignment if we find that you have plagiarized. Depending on the severity of the plagiarism, I think we've both agreed that there's a chance you could fail the class as well. So take that into consideration and make sure that you cite everything. It's better to be careful and find yourself oversighting than to be lazy and find yourself with a big fat 0.
Another problem with plagiarism is you are stealing. If you have a problem with people stealing anything in this world, if you think that that's a crime, plagiarism needs to be viewed in that same light.
Because plagiarism is stealing another person's ideas or words and representing them as your own. In case you're not clear on the definition of plagiarism, you are held responsible for understanding what that is.
It's theft of intellectual property, and you don't want to be guilty of doing that.
It's not a good thing. Now, the readings in our syllabi the readings in our syllabi should be completed before coming to class or before doing your posts. There is no exception to that. We give you these readings because we know that they will help you, and if you choose not to do them, that's your responsibility, but we hold you responsible for knowing the information that is given to you in the readings. So don't just skim through them, try to understand what they're trying to teach you, because you will be asked to use those skills in your assignments.
There is only so much that Nicole and I can do to help you understand every genre that you will be writing in, and that is why you have textbooks. It's to supplement the information, the lectures, the discussions that Nicole and I have about each genre and have with you about each genre. And if you don't do the readings, you're not going to get that supplemental material that will help you further and more in-depth understand each genre. Furthermore, your textbook has many ways to help you begin the writing process for each genre, especially at the end of each chapter. So if you fail to do the readings in your textbook, it's going to hurt you. If you fail to come to class, you're going to miss out on class lectures, class discussions. If you fail to miss class posts, you're going to miss out on the discussions going on in the posts, but almost like you would in a regular class. So it's imperative to you and your grade, like I said before, for you to participate in everything that's going on in the class.
And that includes the readings,
exactly.
Which leads directly into your responsibility for your grade in this class. We don't give you a grade, you earn the grade, and you are responsible for doing all the assignments that we set out. The reason that we give you these assignments, which have evolved through several semesters of teaching, we've chosen assignments that we feel would be extremely helpful, and if some of them don't work one semester, we'll change them the next semester. So you are the beneficiaries of a lot of semesters of teaching. So the reason we're giving you these assignments is because we feel that they will help you. Your responsibility in the class is to go through that process with us. If you will do the assignments that we give you and stay on top of your assignments and ask us questions whenever you're wondering something, you'll have a much easier time passing this class with the grade that you want. But know that it is your responsibility to understand the schedule for the class. It is your responsibility to come to class, your responsibility to post on time and ask questions when you don't understand, because we can't know when you need help unless you tell us.
Exactly. I'd like to reiterate what Nicole just said. If you don't ask questions, if you don't ask for clarification, if you are having a problem with posting, with coming to class, if you've got an emergency, any of those things, you need to let Nicole and I know immediately, Nicole or I know immediately, so that we can make arrangements, work with you within reason,
offer suggestions for helping with your problems.
Exactly. And furthermore, if you don't ask questions or ask for clarification, Nicole and I are both going to assume that you know exactly what we expect and what we want. And so if you don't know exactly what we expect and what we want, and you don't ask questions or get clarification, that's your fault, not ours.